Some houses aren't haunted because of what happened inside their walls. They're truly haunted because no one truly left. Not in life, not in death. Tonight, we travel to a quiet patch of Illinois farmland where family tragedy, forgotten graves, and restless spirits have shaped the story of a home frozen in time. This is the Cambre House, where history lingers and doors don't always open for the living. This is Half Haunted, and I'm your host, Candy, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Raji Clark. Hello.
Hello.
Just outside of Nauvoo, Illinois, winding rural roads, and they are rural, like dirt roads, stands the Cambre House, built in 1867 by French immigrants Adolphe and Hortense Cambre. This was never meant to be haunted at all. It was meant to be a dream. The Cambres came to America as part of the Icarian movement, a utopian French experiment meant to create a perfect society in the Midwest. They bought the land that was abandoned by the Mormons when they went west to Utah. They settled in and started over. At first, they lived in a small cabin while constructing the larger farmhouse, a permanent home for their 10 children. But for the children, only 4 would live into old age. 2 daughters, Leona and Eglantine. They died young. Leona was just 9 months old, and Eglantine was 9 years old. She died on the property. Her grave was once marked, but time took the stone, and today her resting place is somewhere on land unmarked, but never quiet. The family's tragedy didn't end there. One son drowned in the Mississippi River, another died in a sawmill explosion, a third from impacted valves, and a daughter during childbirth. Wow, that's sad. Really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Those who remained stayed rooted to the land. Fritz and Anita Cambre never married, never had children, tending to the apple orchard until 1940s. When Fritz retired, the home was passed to his nephew, Robert Cambre, a minister who let the orchard fade. For Fritz, watching the family legacy wither was too much. He was diagnosed with a terminal illness and he ended his own life in California. So in 1979, Rebecca's grandparents bought the Cambre House at auction. They restored it, preserving its history, and it became the first private residence in Hancock County on the National Register of Historic Places. When Rebecca took ownership, she thought she was inheriting the old home. It's been under family since 1979, and she bought it. So she's had it, I don't remember, I think it's 2016.
Mm-hmm.
She's owned it since then. She thought she was inheriting an old home. She didn't realize she was also inheriting its spirits. So doors opened on their own. The basement door refused to stay shut. The attic door opened without anybody touching it. Growing up, she said no one called it haunted. They just said the old house. But when Rebecca and her then 8-year-old daughter spent their first night there alone, her daughter refused to sleep anywhere except in the middle of the living room floor on an air mattress. And she also had another relative living with her or staying with her that night with her the dogs. So that night, Rebecca heard footsteps 3 times descending the stairs, walking past her head and opening the front door. Her sister remembered doing it twice to let the dog out to use the bathroom. Well, the footprints, well, it belonged to someone else. So yeah, she was telling me that she was up and down all night sleeping, but she was staying in bed and she's like, I heard 3 footsteps 3 different times, but I think she didn't want to really look. I don't blame her. I wouldn't either. But yeah, I thought when she told me that story, I said, oh my God, that would scare me when you first buy something, haven't really stayed the night there until then. And then you have your 8-year-old daughter. When your 8-year-old daughter doesn't want to go anywhere except down there, that should tell you something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So Rebecca brought in her psychic medium, Kelly McCarville. They're from the Traveler's Moon. I know Kelly and her husband, Chris. Wonderful team. They are wonderful. So she toured the house and she immediately sensed Eglantine. And she said there was someone else, a boy, 9 years old. Rebecca was confused because Eglantine had been a twin, but her twin sister died as a baby. There was no boy. Rebecca, though, check this out. Rebecca dug into family records. She found Louis, which is a grandson that lived down the street from the farm and often visited, and he died at the age of 9. Crazy, right? So when she spoke his name, the device on the table lit up one steady tone. Louis had been found. So it was a little boy that was also there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that place. It's like a home away from home. The Cambre House isn't the only thing on this property holding secrets. Rebecca's inherited paperwork she found a note. All it said Native American burning pit. It wasn't a pit. It was a burial mound, one of possibly 3 on the property. The Standing Bear Council confirmed it and held a blessing ceremony to honor the disturbed spirits. Rebecca avoids the area out of respect, but she says shadowy figures linger there. The feeling of being watched never fades. Where the house is, there's woods all around it, and the woods all burial mounds are, and it's no joke. And then when you feel like you're being watched, you literally are feeling like you're being watched, like there's someone watching you at all times. But it's beautiful. It's not scary, but it's interesting. So the famous front door of the Cambre House is notorious. Sometimes it opens and sometimes it won't. Keys work or they don't. People are welcome or they're not. So Rebecca's own mother, after moving some furniture and pillows she's rearranging, was locked out by unseen hands. I guess she stepped out and then they locked her out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a ghost, if you have it one way and then someone moves it,
Yeah.
lock them out too. Say, don't move my stuff. She knows I'm a jokester.
Right.
This is the crazy part here. Contractors have been locked in or out. Once during a storm, desperate for the bathroom, Becca ran to find the front door wide open, like literally wide open, despite the contractor swearing it had been locked moments before. So this story, she had a contractor come. She wasn't even at the house. It was just a contractor, and the contractor had the key, so the contractor was done. And so Rebecca, after work, there's a storm. She's coming in, and the door was wide open. And then she immediately called the contractors like, hey, you forgot to lock the door. And the contractor's like, no, I locked that door. It was locked. Anyway, this door is notorious. So even with the 3rd lock installed, the house decides. So she's had to install 3 different locks on this bad boy because someone keeps locking it and unlocking it and stuff. I'm like, well, that's creepy. I respected the place when I was there. I'm like, I don't want to be locked in or out. No, thank you. Today, the most active spirits are Eglantine and Fritz. Eglantine's voice has been captured in EVP sessions answering questions. And when she asks if she wants to move on, her response is simple. Why? This is my home. I don't blame her. That's where she found happiness,
Yeah.
Fritz is warmer, chatty in recordings. He likes to chat, sometimes offering comfort. Unfortunately, Rebecca's grandparents died. She believes her grandfather also visits, his voice breaking through on occasion because he's also chatty Cathy. He likes to chit chat. I've been there before. I've been to the Cambre House. It was back in early June. I didn't stay overnight, but I did a 2-hour ghost tour that they put on, because it's a haunted wedding venue and ghost tours and all that. So when I got there, the beautiful scenery, dirt road, you're literally in the middle of nowhere, it seems. Green everywhere. And there's no apple orchards anymore, of course. But there's like a faint smell almost. It's weird. Like you can kind of like apples, but they're not there.
Yeah.
So I walked along the way and I had this weird feeling like, I don't know, I was being watched. But it wasn't harmful or nothing like that. I wasn't scared at all. So, inside the farmhouse, there was Rebecca Williamson, which is the owner. There was April Richardson. She's another paranormal friend of mine that I met at Mason House Inn. And there was Melanie. I don't remember her last name. Melanie. She was there. And then Rebecca's cousin, I forget her name, but she was also there.
Yeah.
So I had a personal ghost tour. It was really cool. And I knew people there. So it was fun. picture the scene for you, right? So we get there and I say hello to my friends. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Like, look to the right. There's a kitchen area. Look to the left, a beautiful dining room. And there's the living room, and there's the door to the basement right there. And that's the door that doesn't shut. I mean, it'll pop open. Even when Rebecca said when they were kids, when they were kids, the door would always open just by itself. So during their parties or whatever they had, they always had to have one kid stand there, stay by the door so it shuts so nobody will fall down, because those stairs are pretty.
Okay. Yeah.
She sat down and she gave me a very detailed description of the story behind it, the history. She's very knowledgeable. I was asking questions, and there's pictures of Adolphe and Hortense on the mantle. And then, yeah, and then there's a bathroom. Well, there was one bathroom in the place, right? Back in the day. It was upstairs.
Okay.
Upstairs. So, but they actually put a second bathroom downstairs in a bedroom. There's a bedroom downstairs, and then like a big area up top stairs where the attic. That's where all the children, I guess, stayed in the one room, and then they had the room for the parents, and then the bathroom was up there. But they didn't put that second bathroom in until I think these are 2000s. I'll have to double check with her, but it wasn't until then because her grandmother didn't want to have to keep walking up and down to go use the bathroom. But she took me upstairs, and those stairs, they're steep. Well, they're old from the 1800s, so they're not like you know what I mean? They're not.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not careful, you would fall. So you have to be really careful. I mean, they're really. But it was nice. Just felt a different. How do I explain this? I felt like a male presence in the room, not the main room upstairs, but the bedroom. I was like, okay. It wasn't scary. I just didn't mind it, but it was cool. There was a door that opened. There was no stairs, so you had to be careful. But across that door, across the way, they did that in the summertime to get breezes, so it off the house. And then the coolest part upstairs is they had this I don't know what to call it. It was like a metal grate thingy. And I was looking down at it, and so I could see the bottom floor. And that's how they had the heat to the upstairs. When they had the heating, it would allow the heat to go up. It was really cool. So she told me about the history. We did do some EVP sessions. April brought her, I forget the names of this stuff, this light up rope. And I guess if they communicate with you, it'll light up. So it was lighting up. It's like, okay. And then there's some other stuff that she's doing, the pendulum, yes, no thing. And I guess my family decided to come in on that session out of nowhere. So I was like, I don't tell nobody anything about my family. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Certain psychics are real or whatnot.
Right.
So and then they're like, yeah, it's a male figure and, tall. And I said, is this my dad? And that thing was going like this. And,
Yeah.
I mean, so my dad was there.
What do you want?
I said, what do you want? I said, this is time Grandma Mo with her Jolly Ranchers. But, but it was kind of touching because I was going through some stuff prior to that. We all know what I was going through. Now, I should not name that person, but it was tough, and I was trying to hold back tears because I haven't spoke to my dad, since he died. So it was kind of interesting. Glad he was happy, but it was fun. And then I touched the doors, and I'm like, oh my God, you got locked out. She was showing me the picture. There's a picture, and it's a wedding that happened there in front of the house. And in the window, legit in the window, you see an older woman standing in the window. And nobody was in there. All the guests were outside. No one's in the house. And I'll show it, of course. So put it up here. But I'm like, oh my God. But it was fun. I would actually go and stay. But honestly, someone would have to stay with me. But anyway, no, if I ever got married, that's where I would do it. Because it's open. There's everything you need's there. Beautiful. Yeah. And literally, the Mississippi is right there. So you can't beat it. But yeah, that was crazy. So whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's always a weight to this house that makes you pause. You're not entirely alone, which you're not at any point. Even when I was driving up, it was like I was being greeted. But it was a wonderful feeling, beautiful scenery, great guests, great hosts. Everything was great. So some hauntings are born of tragedy, others of love. The Cambre House is haunted because it's a home. Here the dead don't linger. because they're lost. They linger because they belong. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please like, follow, and share. And you can find us on YouTube at Half Haunted Podcast. If you're feeling brave or simply want to experience history up close, the Cambre House isn't just an historic farm. It's also a haunted wedding venue, an event space blending the romance of the past with a touch of paranormal. Now imagine this, saying your vows in a century-old former apple orchard surrounded by the whisper of the breeze and the scent of blooming trees, or hosting a candlelit reception in the loving, preserved farmhouse. Its vintage charm and original details setting the perfect stage for photographs that feel timeless. And those photographs are amazing. I'll post some of those too. Dancing under the stars, the Mississippi River glows in the distance. Have you ever done that before? Well, you can at the Cambre House. They offer weddings and receptions, rustic elegance with a supernatural twist. Private events, birthdays, anniversaries, or themed gatherings in a historic setting. They also have been on paranormal tours and ghost hunts. And for those who want their special to include a encounter with history that refuses to rest. The outdoor spaces are breathtaking views, peaceful grounds. Whether you're here for romance, history, or just to see Eglantine herself make a quiet appearance in your wedding photos, the Cambre House delivers an unforgettable experience. They are at 1 Cambre Lane in Nauvoo, Illinois, 62354. You can reach them at 309-221-9803, or you can reach out to them by email to cambryhousemfarm@gmail.com. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your lights on, and remember, some houses aren't empty. They're just waiting for you to come around.
That's right, and stay haunted.
I heard you playing with the door while I was downstairs.